SmackDown was taped in Atlantic City this past Tuesday. Sami Zayn kicked off the show as the new undisputed WWE champion. He got a big pop from the crowd. He was all smiles before he criticized the fans for turning their back on him. And he kept making it like he was going to tell the fans to kiss his ass, tell them to go to hell. But he didn't because he's the last real good guy. He was being cheered, and it felt like he was about to, go off on them, but it definitely felt like this was a tweener, and that's going to be his character going forward. In some cities, he'll be cheered, other cities, he'll be booed, but in Atlantic City, they liked him a lot, and they were not turning on him. And even though he was really a heel on TV, it seemed like they were happy for him, and I'm sure there were "you deserve it" chants, and we didn't really hear it because it's a tape show. Anyways, Cody Rhodes came out and he congratulated Sami. He was going to leave, but Sami stops him. He doesn't buy it. He says, "We all know why Cody's here." And before they can continue, Jey Uso comes out. He hugs Sami, and he didn't do the stupid yeet entrance through the crowd. He didn't run it back, thankfully, but he hugged Sami, and he tells him that he needs that title for the family. So Sami Uso is not real. He doesn't consider Sami to be family. Whatever happens to that. Cody makes fun of him for it, and he's calling out Jey for being Roman's servant again. And then Sami tells them both to get to the back of the line. However, Adam Pearce comes out, and since Nick Aldis is suspended, Adam Pearce is running SmackDown for the time being, and he tells Sami he will defend his championship on Raw in Chicago this Monday against the winner of Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso in the main events of SmackDown. Michael Cole and Corey Graves were on commentary again. Wade Barrett and Joe Tessitore do the night off on Tuesday. Backstage, Kathy Kelly interviewed Charlotte Flair. She explains why she interfered on Jade's match this past Saturday. And then Alexa Bliss appeared. She was a little upset that Charlotte made the trip without telling her. Then Tiffany Stratton walked in as she's ready to team with Charlotte tonight. Of course, they're still teasing tension with Tiffany and Charlotte from that awful rivalry last year. And then Chelsea Green appeared, and the fans really liked her, by the way. And Chelsea and Tiffany teaming with Charlotte tonight. Alexa did not come out to the ring with them. That's interesting. So Charlotte Flair was out next, and Chelsea Green came out during the break, and then Tiffany Stratton came out after the break. Jade Cargill and her baddies were out next, so we got the 6-woman tag, Jade B. Famation against Charlotte, Tiffany, and Chelsea. So fans really like Chelsea. This was a quick match. This felt like almost a house show type of match. Chelsea got the hot tag. Fans actually gave her a nice pop, and they really liked her, but then she got finished off quickly with the Jade and got pinned by Jade. So the heels with the win in this match. They showed the Gunther and Nick Aldis footage again. Backstage, Sami Zayn was kind of upset with Adam Pearce about having to defend his title on Raw. Then he walks up to Johnny Gargano, who was planked on a production box. He takes a selfie. I think he has actually Candice LeRae, who was standing there to take a selfie of himself and Johnny Gargano, and he credits with Johnny for supporting him as he's now the new champion. Rey Fenix was out next to absolutely no reaction. Then Vikingo came out after the break, and we got the AAA Cruiserweight Championship match. Rey Fenix defending against El Hijo del Vikingo. I'll be honest. Look, no offense to these guys. I don't care about this flippy shit. It's never in my thing. I really don't care about this kind of stuff. It belongs on Wednesdays, not Fridays, if you know what I mean. But Rey Fenix retained. Backstage, Kathy Kelly was interviewing Julia, who was going to call out Blake Monroe. Then Kiana James appears, and that's when Blake attacks Julia for the second straight week. She throws her into a production stand or a box, and then she attacks Kiana James as well. As Kiana was mocking Julia, Blake Monroe attacked Kiana as well. So then we got a backstage segment taking place with Jacob Fatu, Royce Keys, and Jimmy Uso. Royce tells Jacob he's part of his family, so I don't know. I mean, I'm glad there was no Solo. But this doesn't really do anything for me. We got an in-ring segment with Trick Williams coming out with Lil Yachty. Carmelo Hayes interrupted, and it eventually leads to the two of them going back and forth to set up a non-title United States Championship match next week. They kind of referenced their past in NXT. And here it's kind of like, Trick is the heel with Carmelo as the face. It's kind of reversed from where it was in NXT. Lil Yachty, I have to say, he's just so unnecessary. He doesn't need to be there. Trick actually bitch slapped Carmelo Hayes, who then responds after Trick left the ring. Carmelo then hits a dive to the outside, taking out Trick, setting up their match next week. We had Danhausen have a backstage segment with Matt Cardona, The Miz, and Kit Wilson. So they're doing the whole thing with Miz and Kit, or Miz actually doing his old gimmicks. Now it's like Matt Cardona is going to transform back into Zack Ryder, which is great. He actually did the spiker hairline. I think that's better for him. No one cares what Matt Cardona is going to go nowhere except being released in a year. He's just more entertaining being a comedy act like his wife is, Chelsea, who he's married to. I think people would prefer to see Zack Ryder than Matt Cardona. So they're kind of doing that. I think it'll be interesting. And it's also worth noting that Danhausen's going to face JD McDonagh at Saturday Night's Main Event. So they're setting that up. It's all set up to be in New York City at Madison Square Garden, where they're going to have the basketball team there. Connection with Danhausen, it's well documented. We all know where that's leading. Brie Bella and Paige are out next. I'm going to have a rant on them. It's going to be a short on their reign as Women's Tag Team Champions because it's been absolutely horrendous. Fatal Influence was out next. Lainey Reed, who was there, who was going to be competing. She was accompanied with JC Jane, the leader, and Fallon Henley. And Fallon, I wanted to mention, she did an interview with Cody Rhodes on his podcast, and it was released this week. I listened to it, and she has a really interesting story, a very difficult. She had a lot of tragedy in her life that I wasn't aware about. I think she had two older sisters, and both of them have passed away. And her brother-in-law also passed away, who was married to one of them. So, I'd recommend listening to that. She had a difficult, definitely the last several years have been very difficult for her on her journey getting into WWE. And she was in developmental for a while. So I think if you listen to that, you'll really like her. Anyway, he had Lainey Reed against Brie Bella. Fallon looking great, by the way. So Lainey ends up winning. She hits a running knee onto Brie Bella. Match was awful. Why is Brie Bella on my TV screen in 2026? She offers absolutely nothing. She's so dated, back to the Divas era. There's nothing about her. She wrestles so slow and just there's nothing to her. The fans don't care about her. They're not into her. She was never a good promo. She was never a good performer. Nikki was a star, and I'm not a big Nikki fan, but she was. Brie is just off. There's nothing to her nowadays. Why is she on my TV screen? And no one really cares about Paige that much either. And Lainey won. Paige and Brie are just the worst women's tag team champions ever. Damian Priest was backstage. He watched as R-Truth had a hot dog eating contest with Fraxium, which was funny. And then the War Raiders wanted a title shot afterwards. It kind of set it up. So I guess it's going to be like a title versus title, as the War Raiders are the AAA Tag Team Champions, and we're going to get that match soon. Cody Rhodes and Finn Balor interacted backstage. After Cody leaves, Tama Tonga went up to Finn Balor, and then that's when Tama Tonga went up to him, and that's when Tama Tonga came up from behind and attacked Balor. So I will say this: I don't care about this feud at all. I think that's such a step down from Finn Balor to go from feuding with the Judgment Day to feuding with what's left of the MFTs, the Tongans. But there was something good on the show, and that was no Solo Sikoa. So I guess Christmas came 6 months early for me. Jey Uso was out next, followed by Cody Rhodes, and this was the main event. Number one contenders match. Winner faces Sami Zayn for the Undisputed W Championship on Raw this Monday in Chicago. So Cody and Jey, not a good match. Everything with Jey sucks. Cody won with the Crossroads, and that was it. Cody faces Sami Zayn on Raw. So really, SmackDown was just a taped throwaway show. We will see who the WWE Champion is coming out of Raw this Monday.